Hello everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to implement role-based access control in Fedora Linux file server. Let's take as example small company with two departments, HR and marketing. First, what is role-based access control? This is a widely used access control model that simplifies permission management by assigning access right to specific roles within an organization rather than to individual users. So how we start? First, we define roles. Then we assign users to these roles. Then we grant permission to the roles, not to the users. So for example, if we speak about small company, let's say we have 100 employees in this company. Rather than assigning the permissions to each user, then later if I need to do a change, I need to do this change to the 100 employees. It will be much easier to assign the permission to the roles. Then I add users to the roles. So later, if I need to change the permission, I'm going only to change the permission to the roles, which will be applied to the users. So let's start. Step number one will be role definition. So let's create a matrix. Let's say 3 columns, 5 rows. Let's say now the department, the role, and the access level. Now we speak about, in this simple example, about two departments, HR and marketing. So let's assign 2 roles for each department. Let's say for the HR department, the first role, let's say HR manager, and the second one, HR employee or staff. Similar, we have marketing. Let's assign 2 roles to the marketing department. Let's say marketing manager and similar marketing staff or employee. Now we need to think of the access level for each role. Let's say, for example, the HR manager has read, write, execute. As you know, R mean read only, W mean write, X mean execute. Assume this is an application, this file can be executed. If it is a directory, execute mean you can search inside that directory. This one will be now to all HR files and directories. So now the HR manager has full access, read, write, execute to all HR files and directories. However, when we speak about the HR employee, let's say the employee has read only, which means no write, no execute to the HR files and directories. If I want the employee to be able to search, we can add execute. Similar, the marketing manager has full access, read, write, execute to all marketing files and directories. And let's say the marketing staff has, for example, read and write, no execute to all marketing files and directories. Again, the information security team should meet with the help desk team, with the management to agree on this permission matrix. This is the core of the role-based access control. Now, the second point to discuss here will be the group structure. Now, we speak about 4 groups in Fedora Linux. So just give me a second. Okay, so now let's apply this to Fedora Linux. Okay, now we are inside Fedora Linux. So let's open the terminal. And here, let's just zoom in. To make it sure it's clear. Okay. First, let's switch to the root. Okay, we are in the root now. So let's go ahead and create 4 groups. Group add. The first group, let's call it HR manager. Second group, HR employee. Third group will be marketing manager. And last group will be marketing staff. Now, if you want to check that you created these groups, we can use the tail command. Let's say display the last 4 groups in the file etc group. As you see, we created the 4th group and they are added to the system. Okay. Now the next step, we need to create the files. So let me show you. If we do list to the slash, inside the slash, we can find, for example, the etc, the home. Under the home, you can find all users. Like each user you create, there will be a directory of the same username under the home. We have also the root. So now let's create files. Let's say, for example, let's create data directory. And under the data directory, let's create another directory called HR and another one called marketing. You want to check the directory structure, you can list, let's say, the data directory, we have HR and marketing. Or if you want, you can use the tree command. Under data, we have HR and marketing. Okay, let me clear my screen. Next, now we need to assign ownership for the user owner and for the group owner to these directories. So again, to remind you, we created under data, HR and marketing directories. So let's use the command change owner. Let's keep the user owner, the one who created this directory is the root. Why I created these directories from the root account. And now let's assign the group owner HR manager. As you know, today we created 4 groups: HR manager, HR employee, marketing manager, and marketing staff. So now let's assign the user owner. Let me first continue the command, then I'll explain it. Okay. As you know, if you add the last slash or remove, doesn't make any difference. Now, for this directory, HR, I want the user owner to stay the root, and I want to change the group owner because initially the group owner was also root since I created this directory from the user owner. Now I want to change the group owner to this directory HR manager, which means any user is assigned the HR manager role now will be the group owner of this directory. Later, we can add users to this group and we can assign managers to the HR manager role. Similar, let's now assign root and marketing manager. So root will be the user owner, no change. However, I want to change the group owner to this directory marketing to be marketing manager. Okay, we are done with this step. Now we need to set the directory permissions, but before that, let me quickly review the permissions. As you know, we have 3 classes of users inside Linux. We have the user owner, and usually we use the symbol U. This is the user account. We created that file or directory from that user account. Like today, I created these directories from the root. So root will be the user owner of that file or directory. We have also group owner, and we use G. Now, any user belong to the group owner. This means they have also specific permissions to that file or directory. And finally, we have others. Others mean all remaining users in the Linux system. And here we use O. And just for your information, for all users, we use A. Now, What operations you can perform? Read, write, execute. Now, first, let's quickly review the permissions. Assume, for example, I want to grant, let's say, read-only permission to all users. Let's make it simple. So we write R dash dash. This means the first group, which is the user owner, has read-only, no write, no execute. Similar. Second group, which is the group owner, has read-only. Similar. Others also have read-only. Now, how we do the calculations? Let's just make it large here. Okay. Here we write 4 to 1. And if you ask me why, because we use binary system, it's like 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2. So here 4 to 1, 4 to 1. So here we use R. So let's just use a line. Or okay. Here we use the read, no write, no execute. Similar, read, no write, no execute. Read, no write, no execute. So now if you calculate, you multiply and add. 4 multiplied by 1 will be 4 plus 0 plus 0. Let's just make it simple, smaller. Similar, here we have 4 plus 0 plus 0. And here we have 4 plus 0 plus 0. So this will be 4, 4, 4. This will be now the permission to assign read-only to the user owner, group owner, and other users. Another example. Let's say I want to assign full permission to the user owner and group owner and no permission to others. Let's copy and paste this one. Now, full permission means the user owner can read, write, execute. Similar, group owner can read, write, execute. Now, others have no permission, which means no read, no write, no execute. So now this will be 1, 1, 1. Again, because read, write, execute, we have 3 permissions. Similar, 1, 1, 1. And here, no permission, 0, 0, 0. Now, if you multiply and add, it will be 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7. Similar. This one will be 7, which is 4 plus 2 plus 1. And this one will be 0. So the final permission will be 7, 7, 0. This is just a quick review how we can assign permissions to the 3 classes of the users. We have user owner, group owner, and others. So now the command will be like change mode. For example, 770, assume the file called file1. This is the command we can use inside Linux. So now let's switch to the Fedora Linux and see how we can apply this to our example. Okay, now after I made a quick review about the permission, let's now set the permissions for all these directories, the groups we created. So the first permission will be chmod 770 to the HR directory. Now again, what this permission mean? The user owner, which is the root, has 7, which mean read, write, execute, full permission. The group owner now, if you remember, what's the group owner for this? HR manager. Also, HR manager has full access, 777. Everyone else has 0, which mean not allowed to read, write, or execute. Similar, let's assign now to the other one, the marketing. Again, at the end, if you keep this slash or remove, doesn't make any difference. So let's assign similar to the marketing directory. Now the marketing manager will have full access in addition to the root, because root is the user owner. Everyone else has no permission, even not allowed to read, because read mean you are violating the confidentiality of the data. You are accessing that data. Are we done? No. Now we set the permissions for the HR manager and the marketing manager. However, we still have the HR employee and the marketing staff. We need to give them permissions. So how we can do this? We can use this command, set file access control list. This is the short for fact. So this command now modify the access control list to the directory. Now we speak about HR. This is the first case. Now we need to grant the HR employee read and execute permission. Why? Execute permission to a directory mean you can search inside that directory. You can also navigate inside that directory. And M mean we need to modify the access control list. Now we speak about the group HR employee. Now, without leaving any space, what will be the permissions? Read, no write, execute. These are the permissions. Okay, sorry. It's set, as I said, file access control list. So I did typo here. Okay, we get error message. Let me check. Okay, I figured out what's the issue. I didn't decide for which directory I want to set the permissions. I want to set the permissions for the directory HR. Similar, we can do the same. Now we speak about the other group. We have the marketing staff. This is the last group here in this case. And now you need to set what permissions you want to give them. Let's say read, write, no execute to the directory marketing. So that's it. Now we set the permissions for the 4 different roles in this organization. Now the beauty, you can add as many users to these roles. Later, if you want to change, you don't change for the individual user. You just go ahead, change the permission for the role. Okay, let me clear my screen. Now, as an example, let's create users. Let's say, for example, user add. Let me create a user called John. Then, as you know, when you create a user John, this user will be added to a default group of the same name called John. So after you create a user, you can modify the account settings. So let's say, for example, for the user John, let me first write the command, then I'll explain it. Okay. So now I am modifying the user. This is short for user modification. Dash A is extremely important here. It means that I am not changing any group the user John belong to. For example, the user John may belong to different groups within the organization. I am just adding John to another group. We use dash G capital. Sorry, here should be dash. This is the other group, because if you use G small, you will be changing the default group for the user John. I am adding John to the other group called marketing staff. Similar, let's add another user. For example, Sarah. And now let's change. So now I am adding Sarah to this group, HR staff. Let me check. Okay, yes, I got the mistake, because the other group is called HR employee, not staff. Okay, so now we created two users. John is added again to the other group, which is called marketing staff. This is the other group, and we are keeping the other groups John already belong to. Similar, I am doing to another user account, Sarah. She is added to the HR employee as an additional group. If you use G small, you will be changing the default group for the user Sarah. Then if you want, you can create a file. So let's create a file. Let's say touch. Inside the HR directory, let's create a file called confidential and assume this is a text file. And now let's take the current permissions for this file, ls-l. Okay, so as you see here, the user owner group, the group owner will be root, and the current permissions, user owner has read write, group owner has only read, others has read and write. So now you can apply similar commands, like for example, you can change the owner to this file. Let's say I want to keep root to be the user owner, or you can change it, for example, to HR manager. So let's say, for example, or let's keep it, I want root to be the user owner. And let's say, for example, I want to assign group owner to the HR employee. To this file. Now you can assign the permissions, for example, change mode, let's say 640 to this file. As you notice, I press like the first letter, then I press tab, it continue the name for me. Now, if you want, we can list the permissions again for this file. So as you see, for this file, confidential.txt, this is a text file. The user owner is root, the group owner HR employee. And as you see here, Sarah is an employee, belong to this group owner. So what permissions, for example, Sarah has to this file, the group owner has, as you see again, here. Now, as you know, when we look at the permissions, when you use the command ls-l, if it is a file, it starts with dash. If it is a directory, will be D. So we can ignore the first one. Now, root, which is the user owner, has read, write, execute, read, write, but no execute. The group HR employee and Sarah belong to this group has only read permission. You can add more permission to Sarah or keep it like this. Others have, as you see, no permission to this file. So that's it for today. This is just a demonstration of how we can implement role-based access control in Linux for a small size company.